Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Burke County Board of Commissioners pre-agenda meeting for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at 3 p.m. I'd like to welcome everybody. Madam Clerk, all commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Smith, who is out of town. Our finance officer, county attorney, manager, all present. Remind you to silence your mobile devices. If you have those, please get those to silent mode. Remind speakers to turn the microphone on if you come to the lectern. And again, want to express condolences to Scott and his family in the passing of Miss Irvin over the past few days. Remember them as well. All right, gentlemen, item number 2, approval of the agenda. You've had the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That's all of us, Madam Clerk. Presentations today. We have a number of presentations. First one comes from the Meals on Wheels, and this will be from, I want to say Lana or Lana? Tell me.
It's Lana.
Lana.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Lana, louder.
Yes.
All right. Afternoon. Nice to have you. Tell us all about it.
All right. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me to do the presentation on the 19th. My name is Lana Louder. I'm the nutrition coordinator for Burke County. That involves Meals on Wheels and the home delivered meals and the congregate side in Valdez. So on my first slide, Meals on Wheels is all about addressing food insecurities as well as malnutrition and to help our seniors combat social isolation. Because a lot of these seniors, they don't see anyone during the day other than the volunteers that are sent out to deliver their daily meal. So we like to be able to be that smiling face as well as that helping hand if they need anything while we are there. The program is funded by a Home and Community Care Block Grant. That is also what we refer to as our HCCBG grant. We have served a total of 127 seniors during the fiscal year of 2022 and 23, which was equaled about 21,061 meals during that fiscal year. These meals were delivered by 13 routes throughout the county. We have 6 out of Morganton, 4 out of Valdez, and 2 out of Hildebrand. And we also partner with a local church in the George Hildebrand area that has 1 route out of that area as well. Next slide, please. During the March for Meals, which I have sent out an email as well, Community Champions Week is March 18th through the 22nd. So if you are available to help deliver meals during that week, that is a chance for you guys to get out there and visit our seniors and help advocate for them with our Meals on Wheels program. March for Meals is a celebration that commemorates the historic day of March 22nd, 1972, in which President Nixon signed into law a measure that amended the Older Americans Act of 1965 to include the National Nutrition Program known as Meals on Wheels. The seniors, it's for seniors 60 and older, and here it's live in Burke County and technically be homebound. March for Meals has been celebrated through programs across the country since 2002 in order to raise support and awareness for the rising demand of meals. This year, Meals on Wheels program from across the country are joining forces to raise awareness for the support needed for these critical programs. That's addressing Meals on Wheels and the congregate side. That addresses food insecurities, malnutrition, to combat social isolation, enable their independence, and help them stay in their home and improve their health. Typically, March for Meals campaign consists of volunteer drives, Community Champions Week activities, and as well as community outreach. Next slide, please. During the year of January 2020 through this recent February of 2024, we had our frozen meal program that was funded through the CARES Act, Family First Supplemental Nutrition Fund, and ARPA. This was a total of $379,884. We served a total with this funding of 53,839 meals from January 2020 to February of 2024. Each box is comprised of 5 meals per box, and they are delivered every Monday or available for pickup as well. The goal of this program was to reach those in our outlying areas on our waiting list, such as Jonas Ridge, Chesterfield, Lake James, and our South Mountain communities. So with this funding, we were able to serve those people, those 53,000 meals during that time period. Next slide, please. We get questions about volunteering, donations, and such things as that. Any donations can be made to Meals on Wheels and can be sent to Burke County Senior Center in Morganton, just as long as the checks are made out to Meals on Wheels. If you're interested in volunteering, you can contact the Senior Center or myself, either by phone or by email. And also, we are working on trying to get a Meals on Wheels referral form posted on our website. That way it's easier for those that are wanting to put in a referral for either themselves or a loved one. They can go and click the link and fill it out, and it will be sent to me. We are working on getting that in the works. But as of right now, if anyone wants to put in a referral, they're more than welcome to either come by, call, or email, and we will accept those. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Rainer?
I don't have any questions, but I got a few comments, and I want to see if you can listen kind of closely. Blue Ridge Community Action was actually in charge of Meals on Wheels somewhere back whenever Blue Ridge Community Action gave it up and gave it to the county. I've been trying to dig into that, and I haven't found out anything that the county money coming from the federal government passes through our COG, and from our COG it passes through to back into the county. Somehow along the way, Mr. Mayor, we came in for this program. I thought them all that lived beside me, less than 2 miles from our office, can't get fed. There's over, I should say, there's around 500 plus on the program right now waiting to be fed. Now, the frozen meals program was good. He was on that, but the ARPA money ran out. They can't do anything else. So we still have over 500 some people that can't get fed. We have over 200 volunteers. The volunteers doesn't seem to be a problem. Here's one thing that happens when the volunteers have a route. If we change one person for another person, and that person has a route, and he goes 1 mile further, they don't want to go a lot of times, so we lose a volunteer because they're driving their own cars with their own gas. I just don't like to see old people go hungry. I think there's something that we as county commissioners and our board may be able to do as far as helping out in the program. The HCCBG was another one of those things that's kind of like a mandate to us. You know, here it is, we're going to throw some money out there, but we're not getting enough money from the federal government to take care of what we need to do here in Burke County. I just, Mr. Manager, I want us to take a little closer look, and maybe we can get an answer of how it came down and that we have the county running a program that was actually run by Blue Ridge Community Action. I think that's what they're doing in Caldwell County. Blue Ridge is running that, correct, Lana?
Yes.
They're running that program over there, but there are several other counties. I think Catawba County and Wilkes County maybe has. Alexander County has it. The county's actually running the program. So just kind of curious as to how it got fed back to the counties, and is there anything else that we could probably do to help out? There's a good sheet here giving a lot of information on it, but I just think there's probably more that we need to take a look at.
A couple thoughts. Around the state, I think the model varies. There are counties where senior services is more of it's a nonprofit versus a county function. There are people like Blue Ridge. There are counties that do it. So how we exactly landed at this model, I'm not 100% sure. We can find out. I do know for the frozen meals, and we've been talking about this through the budget process, for the frozen meals that the federal dollars, the federal grant has expired. We were only spending about $13,000 a year, so $1.25 per meal. So if that's something that we want to prioritize and this board wants to prioritize, I think you guys putting that on, as a strategic initiative is something that could be funded through county resources. And as again, as budget season's kicking off, the cost to add 28 additional hot meals to the route, I believe, is about $50,000, and that's something that's included in their budget request this year too. So, re-engaging the frozen meal plan, it's about $13,000 a year, 13 to 15, not a huge lift, and expanding it to additional hot meal recipients, of course, requires volunteers and logistics and mapping and all those type of things. But if it's something that we want to, take the burden on a little bit more, it's about $50,000 for 28 additional folks.
How many people we got administering this program?
You
Just
mean-
you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The wait list, and correct me if I'm wrong, the wait list over 500 is 100% driven by available resources for meals, though, right? Not, it's not a logistical challenge, or I'm sure it is a logistical challenge. That's not what I meant. But if there were more, if there were more dollars for meals, the waiting list would certainly be short. Be less. Is that right?
Right, so the waiting list, oh, sorry. So the waiting list, it compromises on folks who have been waiting for, some of them for several years. Way our screening tool operates is it does triage folks based on need. So we serve based on need rather than when they actually applied for the service. We do have the existing 13 routes. It is limiting us as far as where we do go in the county. We have zones set up for each of those routes. But there are some areas of the counties that we just cannot meet with the hot meals because we have a time constraint, we have a distance restraint, and then we have to maintain proper temperatures of the meals from the time we receive them to the time that they are delivered. And then based on the scoring of that intake referral form, you know, those folks who score low on that list, you know, I'm not going to say they'll never be served, but there's always going to be someone coming on the list that's going to have a greater need. So it might be, yes, there might be some folks that may not get served. There is the criteria. They must be age 60 or older, they must live in Burke County, they must be homebound. And so there are some standards and policies and procedures that we have to follow in providing this program.
That's all the criteria they have to meet?
60 and over, live in Burke County, have a need, not have anyone able to do the service for them, and definitely be homebound.
We'll certainly follow up on the origination and other options, though. I hear you loud and clear.
I'd still like to know how we got the program.
Right. Yeah, we'll work on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The total amount that we received, $143,753, does that come to us already earmarked for this, or is it in a pot of money, and then we're deciding, okay, X dollars go here, X dollars go there?
So when that money comes from the state to the Council of Government, they use the interstate funding formula to determine how many adults 60 and older live in Burke County. When that money comes to Burke County, it goes through the Council on Aging, which are commissioner-appointed representatives, and they decide which of the available block grant funded programs to support and how much money to designate for each of those programs.
So is there any possibility that we could reallocate any of those funds, or is everybody kind of in the same boat, or do you have
Every
any
one of those
opinion?
programs that are currently funded through the Home and Community Care Block Grant, we all have waiting lists for services. So it is a hard chore. I think last year, an extra $5,300 came to the county, and they had to decide which of the programs with waiting lists did they want to provide that $5,000 to. We were lucky enough to be the recipient of that program, so we could add, you know, 2 or 3 people to the list. But that funding has been flat funded for several years. So there's not a lot of extra money coming in attached to that Home and Community Care Block Grant. Now, the Older Americans Act is up for reauthorization, and that's where this money begins.
Any other questions?
Does the COG get an administrative fee for what they do for us?
I don't know that answer, sir.
We'll find out.
No question?
I know, not now that line of thinking, but I was curious. These folks that you deliver the meals to and they have the need, has there ever been an opportunity for you guys to know whether or not these seniors are taking advantage of the tax deferment or the tax reduction that they have opportunity to do in the county?
I mean, that's something we can definitely add in our assessment. We're required to do an in-person assessment annually, and then every 6 months we can do a telephone assessment just to reassess their situation, see if their needs have changed. So during her initial assessment, she does sort of screen them for other needs in the community. We can definitely add that to the list of available resources that we can give them.
The reason I ask that, I've actually had 2 conversations about that this week. One at lunch today. I had an older gentleman tell me that he was trying to get his tax rate lowered, but in conversation with him, he didn't quite qualify. So I think there's a misunderstanding out there about who qualifies and what qualifications are. And the one that I spoke to earlier in the week didn't even know it was an option. So if there's a way that we could partner with you guys and maybe in your screening or your assessment, as you identify these folks that are on this route, and if that's, I don't think there's been a board that if there's an opportunity for a senior citizen to get a break, we want them to get it.
Yeah, and we do have the tax office to come out to our senior center and do a presentation annually about the tax deductions for our local seniors. So he does come and do that. But like I said, we can definitely add it to our resource list when we're meeting.
And that's
with our
probably a
individuals.
different population than those folks who are attending the senior center. So
they
I mean,
are.
if there's a chance to do that, I'd like to see us
We can do that.
evaluate that.
On the congregate side, how many people come and eat?
We have, I think, 10 that are registered, and we have an average daily attendance of 7. So they don't always come every day. Some will come 3 days a week, some will come 5 days a week. So it changes daily. The average of 7.
And who cooks that food?
It's through our caterer,
And who's your caterer?
Moore's Ridge out of Lenore.
They provide the Meals on Wheels as well.
Yes.
Any questions, comments? All right, ladies, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Second item on presentations comes from our tax department. This is a departmental update. This will be presented by John Bridgers, our tax administrator. Afternoon, John.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board. So update on the tax office operations. We'll talk about real estate market trends, housing data reviews and audits we're doing in the office, improving our collection rate, on-site software training, and interdepartmental collaboration with the Register of Deeds on deed certification. So market trends and sales ratio. This is the sales ratio for Burke County going back to 2014. So you see that through 2014 through 2019, it didn't change a whole lot, but it did drop down. But when we did the reval in 2019, it brought it back up to 90 point something. And then about 2015 is when the real estate market took off, and you can see that the sales ratio dropped. And what the sales ratio is the assessed value divided by the sales price to come up with a ratio. So we did the 2023 revaluation, brought us back up to 97%, and we were trying to be conservative on that because we did not want to overvalue people's property. 2024, you can see we're already dropped because the market has not slowed down. This bar chart is a comparison for our surrounding counties, and you can see starting in 2014 that Burke County being the first column there, first bar, that we were right at 100%, and then it dropped down. Actually, we're a little bit over 100, and it dropped down, and then you can see in 2021 that the light blue bar, that's Cleveland County, that's when they did their revaluation, and you can see how much they dropped in 2022 and 2023 even more. So we brought ours up to reval in 2023, brought it back up to 90-something% there. So in-office data reviews and audits, the tax office is required by law to periodically audit present use valuation, that is farm use. And that's farm use program was started in 1973 when around Greensboro, around Charlotte, around Raleigh, subdivisions were going out into the countryside, and the pricing farm families out of the ownership, or just tax them out of ownership. So this program was created to lower their tax rate, or tax value, excuse me, so at a present use, not at the market value. So this is what we have there. We're doing that. We're doing early exemptions because sometimes folks who get the early exemption pass away and the family does not let us know, and the property continues to get the elderly exemption when it's not qualified for. Same with disabled veterans and exempt public and private properties such as churches and that kind of stuff. So this is the two statutes for elderly elderly and disabled veterans home exclusion and the disabled veteran exclusion. We post this on the website. We put it on the radio. We put it in the newspaper, and we put it on the listing abstracts that go out to everybody, as well as we do outreach through, like we went to the senior center that they just mentioned a minute ago. So we try to get that word out, but there's people who just, they don't hear for whatever reason. So we're also doing our file review audits on there's three kinds of PUV, the agriculture, horticulture, and forestry. And a lot of times somebody will look, well, how come somebody's got 50 acres of land, but they only paid $80 in taxes? That may be why, because they're in present use valuation, and it's a tremendous tax break. The other side of that sword is that they can, if they sell it or it comes out of the program for whatever reason, a disqualifying event, there is the current year taxes plus 3 prior year taxes, the difference in what they would have paid without the program and what they actually did pay, plus interest. So sometimes somebody's farming, or they've got it in forestry program, they've cut the timber and they didn't replant, or they've stopped farming. So that's the disqualifying event that needs to be rolled out of the program and those back taxes collected. So the tax collection rate, we are working diligently to improve the tax collection rate. That's going to be a few minutes when it comes to budget. So you can see that the tax rate dropped during COVID, and then it came up and dropped a little bit, and now I'm innocent. So we're up to about 98%.
John, can you do a little dance? At least get some better music if you might have theme music.
Well, if it was some bluegrass, I might could clog. So their collection rate last year was at 98%, so that's pretty good, but we're working to make that even better. Can you move forward, please? So on-site training, software training, we've got folks from Farragut coming in to do a half day a month for us to help us utilize our software, the software package that the county is using to be more robust and functional and more effective than what we're actually doing in the tax office. Deed certification. The deed certification is, the General Assembly passed a statute in about 2002 that said a county commissioners could pass an ordinance that said no deed would be recorded unless it had been certified that all delinquent taxes have been paid. The reason for that is if I sold my house today but I hadn't paid my 2019 taxes, then whoever bought the house is liable for my taxes I didn't pay. The new buyers are not very helped on paying my taxes, so a lot of times those taxes just fall off the books and we can't collect them. So this allows the county to require those taxes to be paid before a deed gets recorded. In May of 2023, we had already collected over $60,000 in delinquent taxes through the deed certification. And so I don't know what we did for the entire year, but at that, we would have collected over $150,000 in delinquent taxes that may have just fallen off the books. So what we're doing here is we're hiring a part-time person that would be a tax office employee, but will physically be in the registry of deeds office working together to be more helpful to the citizens coming in. Rather than having them go to the registry of deeds, come to the tax office, and back to the registry of deeds, it can all be handled there in the registry of deeds office. Thank you. Any questions?
All right, good information. Any questions for John?
We Stanley Fair got on our training. I know we'd probably not been where we wanted to be or where we need to be.
Well, we're not where we need to be, and we're not really where we want to be, but they're coming in 13th to work one full day with us, and then it's going to be, after that, it'll be half a day a month that will be. But I do think we're making some progress in what we're learning and how we're doing using the system.
I may add that I think the goal is that John and his team will kind of triage questions through the month, and every single month on a prescribed day, one of the software experts from Farragut will provide here visibility and more do nothing here, nothing but on-site training. So it's whatever the questions they've programmed through the week, or the reports that are month, the reports they're trying to pull, data that's not some of the challenges we've had is you run this report, you need to do this number, same number, different report, different number. Those are the types of things that just having somebody sitting beside you, we think will help tremendously. Guaranteed 4 hours per month, we'll lower that as we need it, but that's a commitment between now and December. We think that makes a meaningful difference, and we've been real clear with Farragut, if it doesn't make a meaningful difference as we enter 2025, we'll have some evaluation to do at that time.
Because we are gearing up to start the 2027 revaluation, so that's part of the data audit process and all that, so that our intention is to do it in-house, which would be a great savings to the county.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right, John, thank you very much. This brings us to presentation number 3, recognition of the East Burke High School cheer team. And Madam Clerk is coming right on up here with her cheerleading best.
This is a request to recognize Coach Sabrina Baker and the East Burke High School varsity co-ed cheerleading team for their NCCCA state championship win on January 20th, 2024 for the non-tumbling D2 division. They will be here at your regular meeting and with their pom-poms. We're asking you guys to take a commemorative photo with them and present them an award.
So should we wear our collegiate stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Theme day.
Theme day, okay. All right, very good. Any question on this matter? Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And then item number 4 is proclamation declaring March as National Social Work Month. Gentlemen, you've had that proclamation in your package. Any question about that item? Seeing here none, this item will remain on the agenda. Madam Clerk, have we had some communication with Corey and the team over there that might want to be a part of that presentation?
I believe Mr. Fisher-Wellman has a conflict for that day. I can ask around though.
Okay, it might be nice if we had a few folks on hand with that proclamation. Have no scheduled public hearings for this month. That'll bring us to item 5, consent agenda. First item on the consent agenda is appointment to Council on Aging, seat number 12. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This is a request to appoint Linda Shamblin to fill vacant seat number 12 on the Council of Aging to complete an unexpired term ending November 30th, 2026.
All right, any question on this item? Seeing here none, this item will remain on the consent agenda. Item number 2, also from the clerk, appointment to the Burke County Smart Start.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Julia Terrell was the DSS designee on the Smart Start Board of Directors until her recent retirement. An application was received from Thad Hodge at DSS, and this would be to complete the remainder of a term ending June 30th, 2024.
All right, thank you. Any question on this item? Seeing here none, this item will remain on the consent agenda. Item number 3, health and opioid vendor selection for substance use disorder. A request for qualifications. This will come from Katie Varnado and our human services planner, and I think maybe she's going to be zoomed in here. There she is. And Danny, you going to have anything here, or Katie going to do it all?
I think Dr. Varnado can.
All right, here we go.
Well, it's nice to see you all, and thank you for letting me zoom into this. I'm representing Burke County and the 2024 Overdose Fatality Review Forum. So I'm here in Atlanta with members from BJA, from the CDC, and really holding up our reputation in North Carolina as leaders in opioid abatement. So I appreciate you letting me come in and present this to you virtually. So my request to you all today comes from the RFQ that we had posted in January for consulting services for regional substance use disorder evaluation. And we want to give a special thanks to the Dogwood Health Foundation for providing this planning grant for us to be able to take on this project. And so we had released the RFQ in January and had 4 responses from some very competitive applications. And Corey, the DSS director, and I and Dr. Frank from the hospital reviewed the 4 applications and tabulated the bids based on their feasibility and expertise to do the project. And the Fletcher group had the greatest score of those cumulative scores from each one of us. So we would like to recommend to hire the Fletcher Group as our consultants for this project. The Fletcher Group is a nonprofit founded by three-time congressman and former Kentucky Governor Ernie Fletcher. They have national level expertise on this type of evaluation, and we're very strong applicants for coming in and helping us develop our Western Regional Partnership around the recovery ecology framework. So I would like to formally ask for your consent to approve the Fletcher Group as our consultants for this project.
All right, thank you, Dr. Varnado. Any questions on this matter? You've had this in your package. Anybody?
Don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman, but I am certainly pleased that the Fletcher Group came out on top. We couldn't have done any better than the Fletcher Group. They're world renowned. They have a number of facilities in Florida. Somewhere along the period of time, I have spoken with the former governor of Kentucky, Mr. Ernie Fletcher, and I'm really pleased. If you gentlemen need to know any more, I'd be happy to talk to you after the presentation about the Fletcher Group. But as we move forward with our project, this would be the group that I would want to be with us. They're absolutely excellent. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Any other question, comment? All right, hearing none, this item will remain on the consent agenda. Thank you, Dr. Varnado, for
Thank you.
zooming in, and we'll carry on. This brings us to item number 4 on the consent agenda from JCPC, appointment to the JCPC seat number 12. And again, Madam Clerk is going to tell us about that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Seat number 12 is for a student under the age of 18, and this seat is currently vacant. We received an application from Henry Beal, a student at Freedom High School, and we'd like to have him appointed to seat number 12 to complete the remainder of an unexpired term ending June 30th, 2025.
All right, any question on this item? Seeing here none, this item will remain on the consent agenda. Item number 5 from the Tax Department, Tax Collection Report for February 2024. This will be presented by Mr. Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the month of month of February, property tax, we collected $51,901,501.52. And that's from July till end of February. That is 98.49% of the budget amount, leaving us a balance to collect of $798,075.48. Motor vehicle tax, we have collected $3,577,252.75. That is 57.7% of the budget amount, leaving a balance of $2,662,747.25 left to collect. For current year taxes, we've collected $55,478,754.27. That is 94.19% of the budget amount, leaving a balance to collect of $3,420,822.73. For delinquent taxes, we have collected $537,119.06. That is 76.73% of the budget amount, leaving a balance to collect of $162,880.94. For penalties and interest, we have collected $301,198.70. That's 91.55% of the budget amount, leaving a balance to collect of $27,801.30. The overall levy, we have collected $51,901,501.52. That is 96.41% of the budget amount, or of the levy, and balance to collect of $934,207.17. Any questions?
All right, thank you, John. Any questions on the tax collection report? Seeing here none, this item will remain on the consent agenda. Next item, Tax Department release refund report for February 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. And for the month of February, the report amount is $12,416.96. Of that, $321.11 was rebilled for a net release of $12,095.85 with no refunds. For the motor vehicle, over $100, the refund was $183.06. Any questions?
All right, any questions on the tax refund report? Seeing here none, this item will remain on the consent agenda. Item number 7, Tax Department order to advertise 2023 delinquent real property taxes.
For the tax levy, the tax office is required to advertise unpaid taxes. So we have, for the tax levy, we have collected $51,901,501.52, leaving a balance to collect of $1,934,207.17. For the property tax, we have collected the $51,901 and $901,501.52, with a balance to collect of $798,075.48. Motor vehicles, we have collected $3,575,252.75, with a balance to collect of $2,622,747.25. The current year taxes, we've collected $55,478,000 $754.27, leaving a balance to collect of $342,822.73. For delinquent taxes, we have collected $537,119.96 with a balance to collect of $162,880.94. For penalties and interest, we have collected $301,198.70 with a balance to collect of $27,601.30.
All right, thank you, John. Any question on the order to advertise? Seeing here none, this item will remain on the consent agenda. Thank you, John. There are no items for decision for this month. Item 7, reports. Remind you, if you have any outside reports that need to come to the clerk, please get those to her as soon as possible. Several courtesy reminders later this week on March the 7th and 8th. That's Thursday and Friday. We'll have budget retreat meetings beginning at 9 a.m. at the Lake James State Park Visitor Center. Then on March the 19th, our regular meeting right here at 6 p.m. On March the 26th, I would remind you of the NCACC district meeting in Catawba County. It's escaping me where that is. Johnny, do you know off the top of your head?
Board of Elections Office, I believe.
Board of Elections Office. Where is that at?
In the Justice Center, the main government complex.
Okay. All right. March 29th, county offices will be closed in observance of Good Friday. Then we'll continue to remind you to spay and neuter pets, cover your loads, don't litter. And if you'd like to report trash pickup needs, please do that at www.burkenc.org and then click the Community Beautification icon on the page. So if you've got a trashy road, please let us know. Maybe we can help with that. I don't know of any other items to come before us today, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That's all of us, Madam Clerk. Thank you very much.